Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and the first apology video of 2024 just dropped January 1st, 2024. And you might be wondering, well Muta, who's apologizing this early? Ladies and gentlemen, no other than Yandere Dev. Now, ladies and gentlemen, 3 months ago I made a video regarding Yandere Dev where I looked at Yandere Simulator as a game over again just to see how much progress was really done. Honestly, not that much as far as I'm considering. But beyond that, there were some rather wild allegations that kicked up regarding Yandere Dev and his involvement in conversations with a minor. Now, before I get into it, obviously I think I have to constantly remind people who don't know what Yandere Simulator is. Back in 2014, April 1st, yes, this was an April 1st post on the old 4chan, where Yandere Dev discusses the game mechanics of a Yandere Simulator. Set in a school, pick a boy, stalk him, kill girls who flirt with, talk to, and look at him. Now, the best way to describe Yandere Dev's or Yandere Simulator's amazing gameplay is take the sandbox and stealth and assassination mechanics of the Hitman franchise, combine them with the day-night social school system of the Persona franchise, and I guess somehow you have some Metal Gear influences. Put some bully in there because you're taking it in a high school, and you get the general gist, okay? Now, obviously, it's a very niche game made for a very niche crowd, and it's one of those games that's been in a long development cycle. If you go to Yandere Dev's WordPress, which is the main blog that he has, you can see that it goes from development archives from January 2024 all the way back to April 2014, ladies and gentlemen, where back then the concept was quite simple. This is your main character, and people thought this game would be simple at the time. In fact, the first actual gameplay right here is Yandere Dev going stab, 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 stab on the old senpai, it seems, which I don't know if that really plays alongside with what the story's supposed to be. But anyways, that was the first actual playthrough. Anyways, that said, Yandere Simulator is not completed. In fact, it's still very much a demo, and it's got a while to go before it reaches full completion, if it ever reaches full completion. Now, I have talked about the development, the programming of Yandere Simulator as well, too, and it really shows Yandere Dev is a bit over, just a bit in over his head, I guess you could say. Plenty of people have done analyses on this topic, and it's all come by as Yandere Simulator basically being spaghetti code on top of spaghetti code. And beyond all of it, ladies and gentlemen, it really doesn't seem like Yandere Dev, the genius mind behind Yandere Simulator, really cares about fixing it. In fact, if anything, this game has more feature creep going on than Star Citizen. And I'm not joking when I say that. It seems like every month he wants to add some new feature to the game, which just perpetually delays this project to no end. It has been 10 years. We are talking the development cycle of a Star Citizen, of a Grand Theft Auto, except here, we're not even getting the basics out. There have been other Yandere Simulator type games that have come out, fizzled out, had their own controversies. This whole genre of gaming is fucking cursed. But that's a whole different video for a different time. Ladies and gentlemen, this game was popularized by plenty of large YouTubers like Markiplier. You can see back then, Markiplier's making these 19 million viewed videos 8 years ago, Yandere Simulator 1, and it just keeps growing from there. Even as of very recently, Yandere Simulator still actually has a lot of players talking about the game. Even as of a year ago, the 1980s mode is still racking up millions of views on the platform. Clearly, it's a timeless game. Now, of course, Yandere Dev's final goal is to have, like 10 rival girls in the game, and one of my favorite quotes is, "Don't you remember No Man's Sky? Don't you remember Cyberpunk? Have you learned nothing? If your game has issues, it's better to delay the game and keep fixing it until it's ready, rather than release the game in a broken and disappointing state and fix it later." By the way, for people who want to play a story mode that contains 10 rivals, I created 1980s mode. Doesn't seem like that mode was the original design, but at least those two games actually did come out, had their controversies, and managed to build themselves back up to like Game of the Year status. So again, kind of wild. He keeps comparing his games to the Hitman franchise, the Yakuza franchise, where in Yakuza you can basically do a million different things, and I guess that's sort of the intended design for Yandere Simulator, even though the Yakuza franchise has an entire game that might as well be the finished Yandere Simulator to an extent. Lost Judgment already has the whole high school and labs and and school and social systems already present in that game anyway. So it is a wild story to witness, but this isn't about the game anymore. Because honestly, do I think Yandere Simulator is ever going to be finished? No, I don't think so. I think we'll probably see GTA 7 before the finished build of Yandere Simulator. And I'm not being hyperbolic here. I really think I'll be platinuming Star Citizen single player by the time this game's finished build is dropping out. And yeah, that's pretty much where it all comes down to. Now, Yandere Dev made a video about a couple weeks ago. Now, Yandere Dev 3 months ago made a post where he said, "I'm sorry." Now, here he says, "There's a part of me that wants to do what I usually do, write out a massive essay where I over-explain every single thing about the situation possible. But I'm not going to do that. This isn't a blog post about that. I'm just going to take accountability and own up to a really, really huge mistake that I've made. A few months back, a fan of the game DMs me and wanted to chat. I normally just turn fans away and tell them I'm busy. But in this case, the fan seemed really funny and interesting, so I agreed to talk. After around 2 months, I agreed to do a voice chat with her. Right off the bat, she let me know that she was 16 at the time. Never perceived that as a problem. What do I care what her age is? She's just a funny fan of the game. We talked for a while and eventually I started to feel really comfortable speaking to her. I started talking to her the same way I would speak to one of my other friends, like she was one of the guys. I made the same type of vulgar jokes that I make when voice chatting with my other friends, and that was just a really unacceptable mistake. Oftentimes, she would say something flirty to me. Most of the time, I would shut that down and refuse to reciprocate. However, there were times when I didn't shut it down and let her talk to me that way without stopping her. That was absolutely not okay. So I thought it was pretty open and shut when I read that. I was like, oof, this man just admitted to some really wild things. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, he made a video where he addressed the allegations. So the first apology video of 2024. Let's get started here.
Groom an underage fan of my game. I will take accountability and admit that I did discuss inappropriate topics with a fan. However, the accusation that I deliberately attempted to groom this fan is false. In this video, I would like to apologize for what I feel I should apologize for.
So he admits basically, yeah, I talked in a way I shouldn't to a fan. Right there, I want to stop it, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a pretty serious problem when it comes to YouTube and when it comes to these communities, especially these like gaming communities that have a lot of underage fans built into them. And this time I'm going to strip away all the jokes and the sarcasm and the BS. In the Minecraft community, there's just been diddler after diddler. In the Roblox community, I haven't looked too far into it, but I wouldn't be that surprised. Listen, at the end of the day, when you have kids and you have these adults who, you know, basically are man-children themselves, the interactions that they have should absolutely be cut down. If you are an adult, okay, an adult content creator, and you have minors in your Discord or minors in your personal circle, you are 1000% the only person responsible for making sure that there is a separation of quite literally church and state between you two. You do not discuss adult topics with a minor. That is not okay. And it's so simple to just tell a minor, shouldn't be talking like that, end call, be done. In fact, you shouldn't privately really be speaking to minors anyways, okay? There's just really no good reason for you to jump into. You got a game to develop. You gotta stop jumping in and wasting your time, especially with somebody under the age of 18 and potentially getting into discussing really adult graphic topics. That's fucking wild. The fact that he just admits to that is just insanity. Now, obviously, he talks about grooming and he discusses the definition of grooming as intentionally starting a relationship with the intention of having it go in a very adult manner from the beginning. Now, again, do I think that Yandere Dev is necessarily that? I think Yandere Dev is a very socially stunted individual. Not that that excuses anything. I don't think this person is necessarily a malicious, like, by design individual. I really do think that he is somebody that just did a really bad thing, that he absolutely should probably be investigated for. And to be honest with you, I don't think he's necessarily safe to be on YouTube, especially when he has intermixed his entire community and there are minors sitting within it. He has proven himself in this entire video, just in the first 30 seconds, that he is not responsible or capable to handle minors interacting with him at all on the internet. But let's go forward.
In the beginning, our conversations were normal, but she had a kind of adult sense of humor, and every now and then she would bring up a topic or ask a question that wasn't really appropriate. When this would happen, I wasn't entirely comfortable with it, but I rationalized to myself that it was no big deal and just kept talking with her. Eventually, I must have said something that sounded like a red flag to her, because at some point she started to record our conversations just in case I turned out to be some kind of predator. She showed our conversations to a YouTuber, and the YouTuber decided, yep, this guy seems like a groomer. We need to...
All right, I'm going to stop it right here real quick. See, the big problem here is you said you felt uncomfortable when they said some really wild adult, humor, quote unquote. Dog, you are the adult. Okay, the moment it's not you feel uncomfortable, you cut it off. It's the internet, bro. There's an end call button. You know what you do? You move your mouse to the end call button, you hit the end call button, and there it is. You're not feeling comfortable anymore. You just saved yourself a charge. That's it. Now you're caught into this problem all because you couldn't just cut it off with a minor. That's insanity. But again, one thing that Yandere Dev doesn't really do all that much is provide the receipts. There's only actually 2 receipts in this situation, one that we'll actually look at right now, because he brings up the actual statement from the victim themselves. So let's read that real quick.
The girl has written a statement about the entire situation, giving her side of the story. I've put a link to it in the description below.
Okay, so he shows this one statement, but that's page 2. So if you go down, he actually does provide the actual post to this statement. So we'll actually read it together real quickly. So in this entire thing, this is written by Yandere Dev Victim. So again, let's actually read the statement together. Let's do a bit of reading. I am Jane, or whatever. This is my statement on everything that happened with Alex or Yandere Dev. I was a fan of Yandere Simulator for a good chunk of my childhood, as were many others. I love I Has Cupcake, Markiplier, Gloom, our favorite highlighter, the whole crew. But then again, I wanted to reach out to the creator via email. I sent him some emails when I was 9, super basic fan emails, and he responded to very normally. All right, everything's cool. I reached out to Alex right before my sophomore year of high school ended. I saw a video of him saying, "Yas, queen," on... God, I hate myself. On TikTok, which reminded me of his very existence, and I decided that it could be fun to talk to him again. He responded to my Discord DM in a very casual, normal way. Okay, cool. We started to talk more often until I made things spicy. So you don't even have to read the next part of all of this. That one statement, until I made things spicy. So first off, okay, children are not ever responsible for the kind of stuff that happens to them in this situation. And no one should be saying that. Yandere Dev is the adult when things, quote unquote, get spicy. Dog, the end call button, the block button is right there, okay? You press that button or you cut it off like an adult. You don't just go along with it and let things happen because again, it just keeps escalating to a point, to a point, to a point. Now this kid recorded the conversations, recorded the communication, and actually right over here what they started to talk about was, at this point, we decided it would be best to move things to Snapchat since he was concerned about being screenshotted. Why would you be concerned about being screenshotted if everything's above board? I was afraid of losing my new friend. He asked me for my snap, I gave it to him, and we started talking there. We had some casual conversation until the first weird interaction, to which he then sends these recordings to another YouTuber, which we'll get to in a little bit. So the point of it all being, ladies and gentlemen, is I don't know why this had to move to Snapchat. Again, it's really weird if you're worried about being screenshotted. And it's time we actually shift over and read some of those messages too. But again, one of the things that was really interesting over here was the part that Yandere Dev had actually highlighted in his apology video. Ali, the YouTuber that actually exposed this whole thing to begin with, coached me into being exactly what he wanted. Based on years of her online stalking, along with the community dedicated to bringing him down, she used the same techniques that the Federal Bureau of Investigation uses during sting operations. Curate a specific environment, build trust, lure in, take down. Ali disrespected my wishes when I didn't even want the video posted because it was an elaborate scheme to bring views back to her dead channel. Everyone has faults, but dedicating multiple videos to someone's faults shows her true colors. She is manipulative, hateful, and absolutely not a trustworthy source of news. Many of the audio clips were cut up and put together to make them sound terrible, conversations that were not real. So I'm going to play a clip from actually one of these situations with the Yandere dev, and it's not exactly a good clip to be listening to. Listen to this one real carefully.
Oh. No, I think I was as one of those in the U.S. is like 5.5.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know how to respond like that. I don't know what to say about it. I don't have one, so I'm not like a penis expert.
There's this one really important thing to remember, and that's that all the money I get is donations from people who want to support me. And if I start working less, then they will think, oh, he's not working, he's lazy, I should not support this guy.
Why can't you start OnlyFans?
Okay, let's just hypothetically imagine I have an OnlyFans. Now, what do I post on the OnlyFans? You mean like just naked pictures of me? I don't think I'm good looking enough for anyone to want to subscribe to my OnlyFans.
Like,
when you turn 18, are you going to start an OnlyFans?
God, no.
Well, how can you recommend that someone else do it if you wouldn't even be able to do it yourself?
So, from Ali's video clip, this is an entire call which took place between Yandere Dev and this victim. And in this entire call, he mentions there's discussions of genitalia, which you should never be having with a goddamn minor, ever. But also, he's got a discussion where the girl brings up the OnlyFans, and he says, I'm not going to make an OnlyFans. What am I going to upload? You know, illicit nude pictures of me? And then he brings up, are you going to make an OnlyFans? And then the girl says no, and he's like, how can you ever recommend I do it if you can't do it? Why even have this conversation with a minor, of all things? And again, Yandere Dev talks about this in his apology video, so let's listen to his explanation of this debacle.
I feel like it's worth mentioning that a lot of the remarks I made only sound bad when they're out of context. For example, there was one time when the girl jokingly said, "You should make an OnlyFans." And I said, "No, that's dumb. No one would ever want to see that." And she said something like, "Come on, it's so easy to make money on OnlyFans." And when I heard that, I thought, whoa, that's a little concerning. Don't tell me that social media is brainwashing this generation to think that they should just go directly into porn the second they turn 18 because it's the best way to get rich quick. That's a little concerning. I wanted to know if she was joking or if she was being serious. So I asked her, "Are you planning to start an OnlyFans?" And of course, the YouTuber used the recording of me saying, "Are you planning to start an OnlyFans?" to frame me as someone who initiates horrifically inappropriate discussions with children.
Now, this is what I hate about these situations when, like, these people downplay really disgusting behavior. You can listen to this whole call, this section for yourself. Even with whatever context he brings in, literally the discussion of any of this involved talking about genitalia. The girl brings it up. He should have shut it down right there. Dog, why can't he explain the exact context of this call? People have heard it. The only reason these apology videos ever get made is to cater to an audience that has never seen this stuff to begin with. They just look at an apology video and say, oh yeah, see, accountability. Cool, now all is forgiven. Dog, have you read the context to this? It's goddamn disgusting. But of course, beyond all of it, there's an entire Snapchat conversation that Yandere Dev has that, by the way, in his own video, in his own apology, he never actually explains, never gets into a point, never denies that the Snapchat account that was shown in these allegations was actually, he never denied owning that Snapchat. He never denied or showed any of those screenshots. In fact, the only screenshot he shows are two actual fake screenshots. And fake screenshots, by the way, hurt any victim involved in any serious situation. Don't be playing around with faking evidence. You're only hurting actual victims. But that said, he never showcased the Snapchat messages, which the entire internet, me, everyone, pretty much roasted him for. And they were pretty damning. Inside Ali's video, she showcases a video recording of a Snapchat conversation with a user known as Cosplay Fan. This is supposed to be Yandere Simulator, or Yandere Dev. And in his apology video, he never actually claimed that this wasn't him. Now, of course, going further into the apology video, he brings up the fact that he spent the last 3 months basically bettering his mental state, and now he's in a much better state than what he started off with, which, again, I don't know. It's great that you're attempting to do that, but this whole apology never really touched upon the really serious allegations. Like, I mean, when you're in a conversation with a minor and you say, so really the only thing for me to get out of this are lewd pictures and videos to FAP2, that is a line you have overly crossed, okay? And if that's not worth an investigation, I honestly do not know what is. So at the end of the day, he hasn't even addressed some of this stuff, which is literally all that needed to be mentioned. And that's why I look at an apology video like this, and I actually say it's probably one of the worst apology videos that I've seen, especially when you don't account for actual allegations like this. Now, that being said, Yandere Simulator is a game that, again, will never get completed. Yandere Dev is an individual that I don't even care anymore if his game doesn't get completed or gets completed. I'm more actually interested in this person getting investigated for some of those messages that I've been reading. He could have actually denied those Snapchat messages, but he never did anywhere. They just still, he never even denied that account. So I don't understand why not. There has to be some level of explanation, but the actual allegations you wanted to see addressed never really got addressed. In fact, if anything, he really just admitted to having disgusting conversations with somebody that wasn't of age, and that should be the only lasting legacy at least anybody should pay attention to. But yeah, this whole apology was without one of the worst things that I've ever actually come across. And will this turn things around for Yandere Simulator? I don't think so. I think at this moment in time, the damage is done beyond anything. You've already got voice actors that have effectively quit the game just because of how damning some of these allegations have been. You've got situations where his Patreon is absolutely tanked down to a point where it's not possibly sustaining his lifestyle or the development of this game. And ultimately, Yandere Simulator's death is at the hands of its lazy, weird creator. There's a video called Yandere Dev, The Open Secret, which is an hour, 20-minute long deep dive into some of the weird behavior that Alex has had. And I'm not here to say that that is indicative, the past is indicative of what this man has done 3 months ago, but it's just a pattern of history that I think many people can look at and just personally stay away from. I know personally me, I don't really think this person is all there. I think that's been pretty evident. But I think given his lack of responses, his lack of actually addressing some of the more serious situations here, should absolutely have him looked into. At least from like, just absolutely assessed, because this is some of the most disgusting stuff that I've ever seen. And on the final note here, if Yandere Dev, which basically he admitted in this apology that he did speak to a minor in an incredibly charged fashion, I don't know if that's still going on or not, but just him admitting to that is grounds for him to be disbarred from like Discord or at least interacting with minors in the future. This man has proven clearly that he cannot handle internet fame and he cannot handle interactions with, again, actual minors, because this is what he just ends up doing, whether it's out of discomfort or not. Ladies and gentlemen, it's truly a disgusting situation, but honestly, this is the Yandere Dev apology, the first apology of 2024, and a damningly shit one at that. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mudahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it, I am out.